Making it happen from Studio 31, Daren Millard, joined by Brian McCormack, the play-by-play voice of the Henderson Silver Knights. Got a jam-packed hour. We're going to cover a lot of different themes, some of which you have perused over the last 24 hours, 36 hours. Others will be new to you from a National Hockey League perspective, but excited to be with everybody, both on Fox Sports Las Vegas, home of the Golden Knights and the Silver Knights, as well as all of our social media channels, digital channels all across the World Wide Web. Looking forward to it as the Golden Knights come off a weekend in which they were only able to get a single point, but the Henderson Silver Knights won a couple of games, so a couple of different perspectives from the hockey club. On the big team side, you were without Aiden Hill for this next stretch of games, and you saw two great goaltending performances in the regulation loss against the Florida Panthers and then the overtime defeat versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. So that was the bright spot, Kira Schmid and Carl Lindbom.
For sure, and Carl Lindbom had to be good yesterday. As Bruce Cassidy said that they were able to get a point and hang in that game as long as they were because they got good goaltending from Lindbom. They got good penalty killing. But I think that's a real organizational bright spot, and there are many. But if you look at the goaltending depth that the VGK has, that Aiden Hill being out, that's going to be a challenge to overcome. But if you're going to get that kind of work out of Carl Lindbom when he's called upon, as you mentioned on the Silver Knights side, that elevates opportunities for Jesper Vikman and for Cameron Whitehead. They both won this weekend and looked great doing it. So, there's a lot of guys fighting for opportunities to elevate. And especially at the goaltender position, there aren't that many opportunities to, someone's got to go down for someone to get a chance to go up. But there's always going to be a bit of a logjam if you got a lot of good goaltenders. And right now, the Golden Knights all the way down to Tahoe seem to have that.
Only being able to score one goal in the 6 periods in the double dip between the Panthers and the Tampa Bay Lightning kind of comes out of nowhere based on how they were able to score going into that set, winning the last 4 games. But when you factor in that they had 4 full days off, and I was positioning it that they would be really well set up because they'd had the time off. They were able to get out to Florida early, have a practice, and you're around so much with the Henderson Silver Knights, the rhythm of a schedule impacts the performance as much as anything that we see.
It does matter a lot, and the Silver Knights won on Friday, just to draw from personal experience. So they won Friday night against San Diego, and they said after the game it was a sluggish start. They picked up in the third period and found their legs, and not making excuses, but Ryan Craig said, they played Wednesday. We haven't played since Saturday. So the idea that they were going to get to their game a little bit faster isn't a surprise, and you just kind of weather that storm in the early going. So to your point, sometimes that rest is great, but there is a time when sometimes someone being a little bit more recently battle-tested is going to get them to their game quicker. But also, you look at the Golden Knights on Saturday against Florida, had 17 shots on goal. And then last night against Tampa, it was 19 shots on goal. I think it was 11 shots on goal with maybe 7 or 8 minutes left in the third period. It was a bit of a surge towards the end. So the production's down a little bit, and I think that's one of those things where there's still a little bit of shuffling, trying to find the right answers with Stone out now. Enough time has elapsed now that they are missing Noah Hannafin being out from the back end. And just in terms of overall puck possession, they just didn't have the puck as much because there were 2 power plays on Saturday and they had 3 power plays yesterday. So you didn't have that element regularly enough to generate your offense and get you going, getting you into the game on that front as well.
This will come across as really odd to say, but
yeah.
you hope that you don't miss the big pieces as much when they do go down, but it does show you how much a player like Mark Stone means to the shift-by-shift nature of this team and then special teams.
Absolutely, and even when you take players like, let's say, Brandon Saad, who's played in top-line role before and not long ago, and he's been a 30-goal scorer in the league, he's a good person to put up in that spot and give an opportunity. And there's a couple of guys you can rotate in and out of there, but it doesn't necessarily click immediately or automatically. It sometimes takes a little bit of time. I think a factor, too, look each year, the Golden Knights have gone off to a lot of good starts, but it's usually around this time, 10 games in or so, plus or minus 2, that you have a little bit of a course correction, and sometimes this is not an easy road trip either. Florida's gotten off to an up-and-down start. Tampa's had a rough start, but I don't think anyone expects either of those teams to be outside of the middle or above for long, so they're figuring themselves out, and it's a tough road trip. But on top of that, this is I think the Golden Knights got to their game really quick, and again, got great start from Eichel, great start from Stone. A couple of players got off to really good starts. Other teams are going to course correct for that. But also, I think we often hear coaches coming out of training camp, hey, are you guys going to be ready to go 100% on day one? No, there's going to be a couple of weeks of knocking the rust off of the Cowboys. It's still going to take until probably 7, 8, 9 games into the season before we really feel like us. And I wonder if the Golden Knights got to that point quicker than some other teams, that now 3 weeks into the season, okay, the Florida Panthers start to look a little bit more like the Florida Panthers. The Tampa Bay Lightning start to look a little bit more like the Tampa Bay Lightning. So
definitely had two more desperate teams that going through some adversity than the Golden Knights have experienced this weekend.
And a little less goal scoring. You go up against Sergei Bobrovsky and Andrei Vasilevsky on back-to-back days, that's going to happen too. But all of those factors compiling into the fact that, okay, you're playing teams that are a little bit more solidified, a little bit more NHL regular than maybe you saw in the first couple of weeks. And with that doesn't mean you're not going to still win hockey games, but you might not get the bounce you need in the third period as often as you got against San Jose and Calgary in the first couple of weeks.
I think it was just the way the games went that was perplexing for Bruce Cassidy and company. You mentioned the 17 shots against the Florida Panthers. Not a real barrage of grade A opportunities. And then yesterday only having the 8 shots through 2 periods and not reaching 20 shots again. Just not unusual that this is a tough road trip, because it is arguably the most difficult 3-game stretch that you will face on the road between Florida, Tampa, and Carolina. But just being a little more competitive throughout the game was something that that the coaching staff and company will take a look at.
Yeah, and again,
finding ways to get to your game.
Looking at Saturday against Florida, Eichel had 1 shot in Florida.
Yep.
And
he'd had 3 shots in every game.
And he had 3 in Tampa last night. Marner didn't have any shots yesterday in Tampa, and against Florida didn't have any there either. So I think that's also a factor when, especially again when
look
you're
at Ben Hutton shots,
missing some. Ben Hutton yesterday, I felt like everything Ben Hutton touched was going towards the net. Ben Hutton yesterday.
I think he had 3.
See, this is surprising me. He had 1, so I guess they weren't getting through as often as I thought. But everything was going towards the net from Hutton. But he had 3 in Florida, or in Sunrise, I should say. But I think that's a factor too, where especially when the power play is so potent for the Golden Knights, when you don't get a lot of power play opportunities on nights when you're not finding it 5-on-5. Sometimes a power play is what can jumpstart you a little bit and get you some touches and get you some ozone movement, and they didn't have that available to them to jumpstart them a little bit.
And if you're not feeling like everything's not going right, a power play can cause some frustration.
That too,
because you're not in your groove, in your rhythm.
Yeah,
might have saw a little bit of that.
It can compound the problem, I suppose.
You're never going to decline a power play, but they were granted a man advantage in the first minute against Florida on Saturday after not playing for 4 days. It's almost the worst time for a power play, because you want to get your rhythm going. You want to find your feet. You want to roll over a couple of shifts and get those touches before you're in that situation. And I wasn't surprised that one wasn't up to what we have seen so far.
I don't want to bloviate because I don't have the numbers in front of me, but just it's anecdotal. But it really does feel like most of the time, like, okay, and they're going to have 1 minute and 8 seconds of power play time to start the third period. That's never the best minute.
The carryover power plays,
through an intermission. It's never the best power play portion when you start cold with it.
I've asked for that stat and never been able to accumulate the numbers on carryover power plays to start a period.
Lexi, Kevin, we have a project for you for the next hour. Dig in.
What's the percentage of where you have at least a minute to start a power play in a period, in the second period, third period? Because it's difficult. One, everybody says fresh ice, but even that, it's so fresh.
Really,
the puck
it's
slides differently. You don't have any flow, rhythm coming out. The penalty killers. Here's something Daren Millard brings up all the time. The penalty killers are fresh as can be, so that's more difficult. It's strange, and that like a first minute power play to start a game falls under that category.
And there's also the matter of, and every year, I think the NHL does a really good job, perhaps better than any other league, I think, of making little tweaks and changes every summer for rules that don't upset anybody, that don't really mess with the tradition of the game. Whether they're moving a face-off here or there, I think they do a pretty good job.
Great
of that.
example of that is face-offs used to be anywhere.
Yes.
Now they're only on dots.
And purposeful.
Yeah.
And
so
it
doesn't affect the game, but it makes it better.
And so one of the changes that I feel like I don't think I'm making this up, of like, hey, let's try this. And again, they're also very selective. There's 20 ideas we throw out every summer. We take one or two. We don't go wild. But one that I've seen, and I don't agree with it. I wouldn't want to see this happen, but I understand the argument behind it for this power play thing we're talking about is, okay, we've got 55 seconds of power play time to start the second period. That face-off shouldn't be at center ice. Put that face-off in the offensive zone to open the period.
That's another reason that it would hurt your power play chances. You don't get the ozone start.
And zone entries are challenges that can be hard, so it takes you 20 seconds to get established. So all of which is that I wouldn't make that change. I understand that change. You should also reward a penalty kill for, hey, you made it to the buzzer. Good for you. The benefit you get for that is you get a center ice draw to start the next period. But all of which
How about having the option to finish the power play before the intermission?
Now, would you rather do that, or would you rather have?
See, this is one of my favorite things. Brian McCormack, Daren Millard, just
in the woods.
Yeah, off out into a 4-hour hike.
In the first segment, 10 minutes in, we didn't make it. But would you? So you're saying finish the power play before the end of the intermission? Is that stoppage time?
We've got 45 seconds to go.
Are you getting soccer stoppage time?
And I say I want to play the first 45 seconds of the third period right now. And then at the first whistle, we'll go to break and for the intermission.
See,
because the penalty killers don't have a chance to reset. They don't have to change whatever strategy, and you get to continue your flow. The option.
That's probably a better thing for the team to argue for. If I were the league, I would say, how about this? There's a minute and a half left in the period. We'll stay 5-on-5 for the next minute and a half, and then you get the full 2 minutes on the other side of the intermission.
Well, now you're complicated.
I'd rather do that than borrow time from the next period.
And you got your full intermission coming up. You're all set, but you got to dance. You got to figure it out on the fly. Producers, TV people, it'd be awesome to watch them, their minds explode.
Kevin, Lexi, is our comment thread open? Are we doing that for this show? Because John Shannon is in there right now saying, Millard, you've done it again, I bet.
I would love to make his smoke come out of his ears. We had a discussion today on the podcast about how many superstars there are in the league, and we each came up with a list. I'll let you know about that as we continue.
It's a complicated question.
Yeah, because your opinion is so subjective, and I think your reaction to my list would surprise you.
Well, you got to get to commercial. It's in the moment. Is Jack Hughes a superstar this morning?
Jack Hughes is not.
Interesting.
He was not on my list. VGK's annual Nevada Day game takes place on Friday. It's coming up against the Colorado Avalanche. Puck drop is 1 o'clock, making for the perfect way to kick off your Halloween festivities at the Fortress at T-Mobile Arena. Single game tickets are available now at vegasgoldenites.com. I'm close to finalizing the broadcaster Halloween theme. Just had a conversation about that walking into the studio, so looking forward to that. We'll do that in the pregame show with Jeff Sharples and Gary Lawless. Coming back with more on Nighttime at Noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas and all the VGK social media channels. inviting you to check in with us. So wherever you are tuning in or listening, could be in the Las Vegas Valley. Let us know if you're in Henderson, you're in Summerlin, you're in North Las Vegas, in and around town, Boulder City, or if you're tuning in on the World Wide Web, on our social media channels, check in with us. Love to know where everybody's at and what they're up to today. VGK Titan says, yes, let them play out the power play if it comes within the last 1 to 2 minutes of a period. What do you think?
See, I understand the argument for it. I do. Are you doing that at the end of the game? If there's a minute and a half left in the third period and it's a 2-1 game and the team trailing has a power play, are we spilling past 60 minutes to let them finish the power play?
No.
Sounds like we are.
No.
Why not?
It's regulation time. That game is going to be played in the middle start of the third period anyway. So
yeah, it's different. You're right. Are you VGK Titan? I saw you furiously typing during the break.
I was testing things out. VGK Foundation will host the VGK Gala at Fontainebleau coming up on Sunday. Fans interested in the event and its once-in-a-lifetime experience can reserve their spot online at vegasgoldenites.com. So we've got the Nevada Day game on Friday and then the Gala on Sunday. A couple of busy days coming up for the Vegas Golden Knights inside of a schedule that will feature 3 games in 4 nights with the wrap-up of the 3-game road trip against the Carolina Hurricanes. Vegas has done a really good job this year, Brian, of getting points out of games that they don't have their best. Like they found a way to get the game in San Jose to overtime and managed to win that game. And they also got the game to overtime against the Seattle Kraken. And then yesterday picked up a single point against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And all of a sudden you've got points in 8 of your first 9 games.
Yeah, I think that's the sign of a good team as well, is when you don't have your best, you find a way to get something. More often than not, you're going to lose games. It's going to happen. There's going to be nights where you just can't find a way. But again, last night against Tampa was a game where they probably – well, they didn't deserve the point, but Tampa could have taken 2, and they got great goaltending from Carl Lindbom. I thought they defended the middle of the ice pretty well, and again, you just scrape and claw and find a way, and that's why, especially in a league where there's so little gap often between those final wild card teams and the middle of the playoff pack. It's usually not that big of a chasm between the top and the bottom. It's because those teams at the top find ways on off nights or on slow nights or the puck's not going in or the top line's being checked tight. Okay, how do we maneuver this to overtime? And that's something that good teams do, and that's why good teams don't have things snowball where they find themselves empty-handed for a week at a time.
Because of our relationship being around the organization, we were both very excited to see Carl Lindbom make his first National Hockey League appearance. And so we were already engaged. What impressed me was how many people I heard from around the league, some of my peers, some coaches, that were reaching out as that game went on, wanting more information about Carl Lindbom, impressed about Carl Lindbom, wanting some of the upside of Carl Lindbom, what's tracking for him, because he's a 7th-round pick.
Yeah.
So whatever got him on the radar for the Vegas Golden Knights, it's brilliant. What they've got for him. But there was immediate reaction to what he was doing yesterday inside that game.
And we talked about it on the Insider Show earlier in the week of what he does well. Because, again, every now and then the conversation about Carl is that he's a smaller goaltender. Well, he's not small. He's not Mike Richter 5'10". He's 6'2", but he's not 6'5". But to make up for some of that is you've got to read the game well and you've got to anticipate well. And how many times last night were there grade A looks where you looked and he's over already or he's pushed out already. He just gets ahead of you so quickly that he's always there and he's always square. And that allows him to make the initial save. It allows him that there is rarely a second opportunity that he's down and out for. We talked about this, for the last year we've been talking about Carl Lindbom, but I think I've said to you before, how often do you see him make a stack the pad save or a cartwheel or a windmill or something dramatic and Hasek-like?
Save of the year candidate.
Almost never.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have to.
No.
He's never out of position, and that's not to criticize guys who do that. Good for you, but he never has to do anything acrobatic because he's usually there, he's usually square, and it's usually what he has to do is extend his leg. He doesn't have to throw his stick out at you. It's that preparedness and that IQ to read the flow of puck movement in the offensive zone. He's where he needs to be.
I call it smooth and efficient.
It's smooth and efficient. It rarely leads to a second opportunity that he can't get ready for again. And I think on top of everything else, just the way he was last night, again, he was under fire for most of the day. He's so calm and composed and down to earth. And it made me laugh. I texted him after the game was over. I said, congratulations on your debut. Great job. And he texted me back about a half hour later, which is to say his phone had to have 3,000 text messages on it. And I bet he answered all 3,000 last night. He's just such a down-to-earth, normal, composed guy. And it shows up in his play. He's never out of position. There's never chaos. It's just very composed. He's a very matter-of-fact athlete.
Alec Martinez and I worked the game here from Studio 31 between the Golden Knights and the Tampa Bay Lightning, and we were talking off air just about what was his best save of the game. Mm-hmm. Speaking to the efficiency of Carl Lindbom's approach and abilities, and it was one of those ones where you had to think, because there was lots of good saves.
They blend,
but none of them were that windmill or sliding over to make a save. Now, he made a great save on a penalty kill. They had a lot of that yesterday, but a cross crease move, a lot of telescoping out and making those kinds of saves. But we didn't see that 10-beller.
Yeah, it's just not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
You can't blame someone for. Think of a pitcher. Like if he gets 20 strikeouts, that's great. But if he gets 25 ground balls and he that's just efficient. That's good use of your curveball. So like Carl Lindbom is capable of the spectacular. He just rarely puts himself in a position to need the spectacular. One other thing that came to mind too is I guess it's easy to respond positively to something when it goes your way. Mm-hmm. But the puck that goes off the referee and goes in when he goes behind the net to play it, and again, immediately waved off. There was no controversy. Everyone was on the same page. So everything was fine. But you're a kid making your NHL debut. That would still rattle me a little bit. Just like, okay, I guess I should be prepared for the unusual today. And it didn't seem to rattle him at all. So,
yeah. I'm glad you brought it up and talk about it a little bit more. Carl's behind the net when that puck goes into the wide open goal. And he isn't even like dropping his hands in despair or emphatically looking at the referee like no way,
panic
or anything like that. It was just a very calm wave off a couple of times by Lindbom, and the referee was he was very
honest,
perfect with his reaction. But Lindbom had this almost perfectly summed up his mood or his approach. Just like, no, that's not.
You got this right. Yeah.
Not everybody knows that rule because it happens so infrequently.
I do wonder. So I believe the rule is it cannot go directly off of the referee, positioned in the O zone and into the net. It has to hit something else in between. That's the rule.
Even if it hits something and like bounces in, it's still waved off.
Okay.
But if it hits the referee and
comes
to me and I shoot it into a wide open net, that's allowed.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's where I wasn't positive because I expected it to be waved off, but I wondered if the referee is positioned on the wall, and a rim hits him while he's part of the play, versus like the referee in that instance was about 10 feet off the wall and it hits him almost in the let's say the torso, and he responds to it. So in that instance, his motion is also contributing to where that puck goes. So that's why I was glad they explained the rule after the fact, because I didn't know if it was just cut and dry, off the ref and in doesn't count, or if the fact that the referee inadvertently batted the puck in that direction, if it's even more so like, hey, sorry, I had too much of an impact on this.
And forgive me, I don't know which referee it was, but no reaction about getting hit by the puck.
No, nails.
Like that was solid. In thinking back to it, I would be down and still be laboring after getting hit by that. But
that's kind of my personality too. I could get hit by a car and get him apologize to the motorist. Is the bumper okay? So maybe he's just a very apologetic person.
Heck of a debut though.
Really, really good.
And the lowest drafted VGK pick to ever play in a National Hockey League game.
Yeah.
With a 7th round selection.
Yeah, and again, the best compliment I think you could give him is the Golden Knights got a point, and it was largely because of him. And he did not look like someone who hadn't done that before. Mm-hmm. I think that's the best. And again, that is his personality. Incredible talent, incredible comfort in his own skin. The moments aren't too big for him. And then as we talked about on the radio earlier this week is, I bet you, I mean, I'm sure he's talking to Sean Burke, but he might be talking to Fred Brathwaite too. I bet you he's picking through that film and talking about every single little puck that came his way because that's the way he operates.
Mike Verzotti, Fred Brathwaite, Sean Burke, credit them too.
Yep.
Working with Carl for the last couple of years and making sure that he was ready. His foundation is brilliant, but they've obviously had a large say in his development.
And I talked to Mike a little bit during training camp and asked him, he was happy with all the goaltenders in training camp, but he was really happy with Carl, and I'm sure not surprised.
Do you see the crossover between Vasilevsky and Lindbom at the end of the second?
I did not.
So they're leaving their respective nets, a long change, and they're both going to their bench for the intermission, and Vasilevsky just reached out and gave Lindbom a tap because the shots were like 24-8 at that point.
Yeah.
But here's Vasilevsky going to the bench, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, future Hall of Famer, Vezina Trophy winner, and gives Lindbom a little tap.
Would you want that if you're Carl Lindbom? It's cool.
If it's Vasilevsky?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like,
it's neat.
My head's spinning.
That's just it. There's nothing wrong with it at all. There's nothing. It's a very nice gesture. But in his shoes, like,
do you think maybe it was a little mind game by
tap me after the game? Don't let me know you're aware of what I'm doing. Tell me after the game.
You're never going to see him after the game. That's the thing. And Vasilevsky had probably a lot of time during that second period where he only faced 2 shots to go, this kid's putting on a show.
Sure.
This is outstanding.
Yeah. No, it's a great gesture. It's very, very nice. It's awesome for Carl Lindbom. I'm an overthinker. I would not.
I didn't know you were that much in your own head that you wouldn't want a
you're in there
tap
too
from a future Hall of Famer.
If I was doing an NHL game and then in the hallway you're like, "Hey Brian, good job with all those pronunciations," I'd be like, "Oh, which one did I mess up?"
Smith.
Smythe?
We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the HSK and what they've been able to do on a real roll themselves. It's the nighttime at noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Can't get enough hockey? Henderson Silver Knights are on the ice at Lee's Family Forum this season with ticket options to fit any group. Witness the next generation of Golden Knights hockey live. Visit HendersonSilverKnights.com to purchase your tickets. You guys had a busy weekend out at Lee's Family Forum. A couple of games, a couple of wins. Unveiled a couple of new things in and around the rink. You had some Halloween activations on Saturday.
Yeah.
It was borderline perfect, was it not?
I think Ryan Craig is really, really happy with the start of the season, not just because everyone had some fun trick-or-treating time on Saturday night. They've won 4 in a row. They have points in 5 of their first 6. They won 3 straight against San Diego, which I think San Diego is going to be good this season. I think they're a little snake-bitten out of the gate. They're having a hard time scoring. But they are in a very similar position, I think, to what the Silver Knights are, which is to say they've got some veterans that they know they can rely on. They've got some real high-end talent on the blue line. And they've got a bunch of players in their second or third year pro that it's time for them to take the next step. So the Silver Knights and the San Diego Gulls, who have kind of been hand-in-hand outside the playoff picture looking in the last couple of seasons, I think they're on a very similar track. So beating them 3 times in a row, beating anyone 3 times in a row is hard to do. But I don't think that's 2 months from now, I think we're going to look back and say, oh, well, it was San Diego. I think San Diego is going to prove out to be a pretty decent opponent. So a really, really good showing. They've gotten some good starts from Jesper Vikman, because you remember last year for the Silver Knights, they had a really, really challenging first 2 months of the season, and Carl Lindbom being injured was part of that. So if they're going to be out without Lindbom for a little while now, potentially, well, how do they respond to that? And Jesper Vikman was terrific, and then on Saturday, Cameron Whitehead got his first AHL win with 37 stops. So the goaltending has been great. The blue line's been outstanding. Lucas Cormier has been very, very good. And then up front, if you're going to win the American Hockey League, you need your veterans to be productive. And Tanner Lazinski and Raphael Lavoie are playing at a point-per-game pace.
The blue line's been tweaked a little bit from a year ago. A lot of the familiar faces up front are back, but that decor has been adjusted. And who stood out to you among the newcomers? And then I want to get back to Cormier.
Sure, yeah. And you know, up front there has been the veterans for sure, and your Brabinetses, Sapoval's back for a second year, but there's been some of the rookie infusion of Cataford, your Ronan, eventually Connolly. The back end, the infusion has been a veteran infusion. And I think that's given them not just some depth, but also it doesn't have to be the same guy every night. So Jacob Megna is the captain. He got called up by the VGK, the very next day. So, okay, you lose your captain and a guy who's playing top pairing minutes for you. How are you going to respond to that? It hasn't been a problem because you take former first-round pick Lucas Johansson off the sidelines, you put him in with Dylan Coughlin, and it works. So Dylan Coughlin has been terrific. He's bringing the offense you'd expect, but defensively he's been terrific. He's broken up, I'm not exaggerating, I think he's broken up a 2-on-1 every game. He's been very, very good defensively. And then the pairing of Jeremy Davies and Lucas Cormier, I've been phrasing as they almost play positionless hockey. That's not the case. But there are times that Jeremy Davies steps out from behind the net and makes a stretch pass to the neutral zone, and the guy he hits is Lucas Cormier. Like, they just work off of each other so fluidly. And it's allowed...
Where did Jeremy Davies come from? Because he's put up points before.
Oh, yeah. And most recently in the Senators organization with Belleville. He's a Northeastern product. He's been in the league for a few years. But, I think he...
Would know Cole Reinhardt? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they were teammates last year. I actually laughed in preseason because Cole Reinhardt had the fight in preseason. It was after Jeremy Davies got the hit from behind. And we had him... I was doing the radio broadcast. I believe it was Sharps during that one. And I said... so the fight, you were stepping in for Jeremy Davies. It's like, you're right, that was Jeremy. So, but it's the way Ryan Craig has phrased it is the blue line is going to drive what they do over the course of a 200-foot game. And it's not just because of veteran experience. It's not just because you have as many as 3, if not you want to make an argument for 4, double-digit goals potential players back there. It's the fact that they move the puck so fluently. If you give them room, they'll skate it out. If you need them to make a tape-to-tape, goal line to blue line, they can do that too. And it just allows the Silver Knights to play a much more up-ice style of game. And the good thing with that, too, is they've had a couple of games a little sluggish in the first period. They didn't give up their first period goal until Saturday. So they've gotten good goaltending. But even when they don't start great, they get better as the game goes along. And it's usually because from the goal line out, they're able to force tempo in a 200-foot game. If you make them come the whole 200 feet, the defensemen are able to bring it the first 85.
Has it been a different vibe since camp, or has it just caught fire here during this 4-game winning streak?
I'd say different since camp.
Yeah.
Again, some new faces is gonna do that. Not a commentary on anybody who departed, but this is a team that had missed the playoffs for 3 years, and a lot of the same people have been part of that. And that does weigh on you. So I think getting some accomplished players in who have fresh eyes on it has made an impact. I think you have a lot of young players, again, like a Jacob Brabinets, who it's being put in his hands a little bit more now. Like, hey, this team is going to be successful. It's going to be because these second and third year guys are the ones driving it. And I think, again, it's still early, still work to do. The Silver Knights started the season 4-0 2 years ago and didn't make the playoffs. So there's still work to do. But I think they've done such a good job of capturing some positive momentum and doubling down on it. They won on the road in Ontario, came back the next night in San Diego against a really feisty San Diego team, found a way to win when they weren't at their absolute best. They've had 2 come-from-behind wins already. So they've allowed some good momentum to snowball, as opposed to last season when things went off the rails a little bit in the first month, and it took them until January to really get back to feeling good about themselves again.
Matthew Cataford, top prospect. How's his first year pro going?
Good. So Jackson Hallam and Tuomas Ironen have both scored their first goals. Matthew Cataford had an assist yesterday in the third period. Really nice cross-crease setup off the rush with setting up Matthias Sapovalov. So all the rookies have been figuring it out. For Cataford, I think that more offense is absolutely going to come. There's something about, there's a learning curve, and he's finding more opportunity to do things off the rush. He's trying to play a complete game. He's absolutely a factor on the penalty kill, so he's learning all dynamics of it. But I asked him before the game on Saturday, I said, how is each game different than the last? And he says, the difference here is your mistakes matter. I can make mistakes in junior, and you'd never know it. I just recovered from it in 2 seconds, or at least I knew I made a mistake to someone that wasn't going to hurt me. Now when you make a mistake, it's a problem. So that doesn't make you play nervous, but it makes you realize that, hey, how come this young player doesn't have an impact on the game? Well, because he's not getting away with things he used to get away with, and it's going to take a little time to figure that out. The good thing for Matthew Cataford is we're 6 games in. He's already figured that out. There's a different rubric for the mistakes you can get away with and what is and isn't a mistake. Sometimes just a good 40-second shift, you never have the puck, but you're positionally sound, that gets the job done.
What I love working with you is, there's a long list, but
we have time.
I do. I'm educated about the language. I need a thesaurus up here with some of the different words that you will throw out during the course of it.
This is what I'm talking about. If you had said that to me in the hallway between periods of a game that I was calling, I would be a mess the following period.
And this is a compliment.
I need a thesaurus to listen to you. And then the rest of the period, you'd say, like, that was good, as opposed to bad.
Amazing play. Be right back. Before we go, and you've just gone through this, so you'll know what's happening behind the scenes, but a huge congratulations out to Ashley Weiss and her husband, Nick, on the birth of their first child, Jameson. Young Jameson was born, and he's doing great.
I love that name.
And what jumps out at you about the name? I've heard some people say that they love the name, and sometimes I think that they're talking about one aspect of the name, but it's a traditional name, and then I'm always thinking, that's a popular name in the spirit industry. So
sure,
yeah.
Well, it's probably a little bit of the Irish in me, but yeah. I enjoy a name that feels like it's got some thought behind it. It doesn't have to be a family name. It doesn't have to refer to anything. Just that is a strong name. It's not one you hear all the time, but it also doesn't feel like you went way into left field to find it just for the sake of being original.
Did you have some name envy? Because you guys have just gone down this path.
I think we did a good job of the same thing. No one's told me differently yet. We named our son Merritt. Mm-hmm. And again, it's not a name you've never heard before, but you don't know 20 Merritts. So it's got a little bit of...
I know 2.
I'm not going to say originality, but it's got a little bit of like, okay, it's not Mike, John, Joe, Jim. Nothing wrong with those names either. But it's that, but it isn't a name with 4 Y's and 3 X's and that we had to really
you didn't have to change it up.
Go into the lab to put it together.
Like Daren with 1 R.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to goof around with it.
Yes. It's
thanks for that.
Just take the name. Well, you could have thrown another N in there. That's The two L's in Millard is just so beaten.
Here's the amazing thing, though. Ashley worked the Monday game, and then
that's the most amazing thing.
Had a baby Saturday and was watching both parts of the weekend doubleheader.
She's all world, and everyone knows that. But the idea that knowing what that entails for a person, the preparation to have a baby, having watched the preparation myself, the fact that she worked right up until the buzzer is amazing. And the fact that she probably could have remoted in on Skype or something if you needed her to for yesterday and been right on top of things it's so Ashley.
Congratulations to
impressive.
Nick and Ashley, and welcome to the VGK family and the HSK family with Jameson.
What are your thoughts? I believe if the schedule sticks, I'm sure it's malleable, big word. I
know what that one means.
K-10 at the end of 2025, right around New Year's, I think is when Ashley's hopefully going to be in the ballpark of coming back. Her and I might do a K-10 together. So if we do,
bring your respective.
Merritt sits right here.
Yeah.
Jameson sits right there, and we see whose baby cries first.
I was just
be a game of broadcast chicken.
But they're in carriers, right? They're not just sitting there.
Well, it's I would put them in a carrier, but I'm not in charge.
I had a lot of baby talk this weekend with Alec Martinez because he's got 2 under 1 year old. So
talk about babies or baby talk, because that would be hilarious.
Right. We were talking about babies. There's not the childish, but we're getting close to it right now with this. So we'll come back and wrap it up nighttime at noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas and all the VGK social media channels. Don't you wish you could keep up with VGK right at the touch of your screen? Well, now you can with the official mobile app of the Vegas Golden Knights. You can scan, buy, transfer tickets, play new exclusive games, access live stats, receive game updates, and much more. Official mobile app of the Vegas Golden Knights is available now on your smartphone through the App Store and Google Play. Thanks to for everybody checking in with us. We've got one comment saying they should play out the power play past regulation. So if you get a power play with 30 seconds to go in the game and you're losing 2-1, you should be allowed to play out that full power play into bonus time. Not even overtime, just bonus time.
Yeah, stoppage time. Right, that's the soccer terminology.
Yeah.
No, all these arguments I understand, and they're fun arguments. I'm a purist in the sense that I leave it just the way it is because I do think penalty killing, part of the task is it's clock management. Like if you are successful enough to get it to the buzzer, you get a pat on the head for that. All sports slant so much now to promoting offense that as a person who, as a young kid playing hockey, was the stone hands defenseman, the best play I could make was off the glass and out. I like to fight and advocate for the off the glass and out people every now and then.
And so often you will commit a foul with 5 seconds to go if you're up. A foul. I don't know where that word came from. A penalty with 5 seconds to go, knowing that you're not going to have to kill it off. You're just doing whatever.
Yeah. I do like the idea that if you have a penalty that you're serving and it overlaps past overtime, that you're not available for the shootout. That I do like.
How many people would that affect, though? Because benches are so short during overtime.
Yeah, but then the likelihood if someone is taking a penalty in overtime, it probably is Nathan McKinnon.
Somebody good. We got a comment from Boise, Idaho, saying, Andy here. Daren, where can I get one of those lapel pins you guys are wearing during the game commentary, during the broadcasts? I forgot to ask Gary when I was talking to him at the road trip event last year. It's funny because Gary leads the league in giving those pins away. So all you have to do is ask him. He's forever giving them away. He's the most generous person when it comes to distributing those pins. I will take a look downstairs at the Arsenal to see if they're for sale, and if I get a chance, if I see them, I'll get back to you. But
for Andy, in the meantime, our old friend Justin Russo, now the voice of the Idaho Steelheads, he's probably got 7 or 8 in his bag. So I don't think we can help everybody, but maybe he can help Andy.
Go talk to Justin. How's he doing up there?
Terrific.
Yeah.
Like a glove. At least that's all my friends are telling me. They wouldn't lie.
We've got the gala coming up on Sunday at Fontainebleau, and we also have the Nevada Day game this Friday, coinciding with Halloween. You can celebrate at the Fortress at T-Mobile Arena, matinee game there, and then go out and do all your trick-or-treating. And Halloween is the biggest holiday when it comes to hockey teams. There's team parties at every level where people dress up, and the Golden Knights had their team party before they went on the road, and Mitch Marner and his family hosted it. Let's take a look at some of the costumes, and this is the Carlsons. If you're watching on the stream, the Carlsons and the Smiths going as ABBA. The wigs are perfect.
Yes.
Riley especially nailed it.
Yeah, I agree, and I like the suspenders. It's a good touch.
on Will.
Will should do that all the time.
Yeah, great Swedish performance yesterday between William Karlsson and Carl Lindbom. They had a great impact on that game. Ivan Barbashev going as as cousin It. that is one that can't be replicated. No. Well done. Pavel Dorofeev as Ron Stoppable from Kim Possible.
Would you think that do they have Kim Possible in Russia? Like, does he know who Ron Stoppable is? Or
I don't know whether he would, actually. I think that's Google good costumes.
Yeah.
And that popped up, and that's what they went as.
Going to have to ask him.
Caden Korzak. And Jeremy Lauzon as Men in Black.
That's pretty good.
That is really good. I wonder where they got the IFBs, the television things.
Well, probably from you.
No, or no, they didn't.
Do they have to hold the aliens all night? Because if they put them down, then they're Secret Service.
Right. And Ben Hutton as Ratatouille. That's good, too.
That's great.
Well done.
I love creative ways of including the kids.
What are you guys doing for Halloween?
I'm traveling to Abbotsford.
Oh.
So I'll be gone. I know my wife and the baby, they're coming up with some sort of a plan. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know if I'll find out. I don't know if I'll just get that photo on the plane.
Mm.
But
you don't know what the theme is going to be? for the first Halloween outing?
I think they'll let me know.
Yeah, but there's not. It's not set up yet.
No, I'm interested. I know that his aunt is flying out for this too, so I'd like to get a picture before we leave. So we'll just get him dressed up on the 30th too. But I'm very uncertain what my role is in Halloween with a 10-week-old baby.
I'm very uncertain what my role is.
Well, with a
family.
10-week-old baby, the baby can't eat candy.
Yes.
Or say the words trick or treat. So if we bring him around, we're very clearly weaponizing the child to gain Halloween candy
extra
just for me.
Yes.
It's very clear that we're employing the child to go harvest candy for mom and dad. And I think everyone's going to see right through that. And I know most of my neighbors, but that's a weird way to meet 75% of them.
Alec Martinez and Emily and the two kids, Jack and Grace, are going out. And again, they're not even a year old yet. They're all going out Peter Pan theme. So you've got Captain Hook, Tinkerbell, Wendy, and Peter Pan. And Alec is Peter Pan.
Very good.
And full tights and everything.
I like that. Halloween costumes I've done in the past, like because broadcasters do them. You've had some good ones.
Yeah.
I've done Anchorman before. We did Braveheart one year. My dad plays in a bagpipe
really?
band, so we had real kilts. That got rave reviews. I did Blue Man Group one year. That got lesser reviews.
I love my Blue Man Group.
But I don't think my wife and the baby can do any of those past ideas. Well, you could do Braveheart, I suppose. Baby Braveheart would be cute. Mm-hmm. And then if he screams, he's just like he's in character.
We've got our sort of a game plan going for the Friday's broadcast. It'll be Sharples and Gary and I on the set with Jamie Hirsch. So we're trying to lock it down. We've got somewhat of a theme. Just need one more element to it. I'm not going to let it out just yet,
sure.
but it's coming together finally.
It's a shame. Now, it's you're right to keep it a secret so you can surprise everyone with it, but this would be the perfect forum in our chat window there to crowdsource for that last
I did a little bit of it with Ryan on the Insider Show a couple of weeks ago, and there's a lot of good suggestions, but just nothing. This one came organically from the group, so I'm looking forward to it. It's not like, wow, did you not something that's going to go viral, but it's something that's going to be fun.
It's clever.
Yeah, I would say it plays off a couple of themes that are close to home.
The older I get, the more I appreciate clever. Like I've seen people wear like a blue T-shirt with a rubber chicken on a string. Like I'm chicken cordon bleu. Like, all right, that's good. That's great. I appreciate clever, low effort. That's my sense of humor. Has anyone ever dressed up as you? You've been in the public eye for a long time. Are there a lot of Daren Millards walking around?
What would your costume be if you were me?
If I were you?
Big hair.
Yeah. A little shock of silver. Nice suit. You're right. I need more material. Maybe I'd ride the bike.
That's
suit, headset, ride the bike.
And a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
How many superstars in the National Hockey League for you?
On the spot with the music playing right now, I'd say
if you think, okay, there's 32 teams, 700 players,
superstar, which means they transcend the hockey fan.
Yes, like that was my John Shannon gave everybody a participatory superstar.
Yeah, I think I could get to 6, but give me time to fill that in.
I was 7.
Yeah, I think that's
and I thought I was generous with the 7.
I think that's fair too. Yeah.
That's the reason why you and I go hiking together.
That's right. Where we have these debates.
Yes.
Daren Millard, superstar.
Another great show, nighttime at noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas.